I hope you're happy because you got 4 videos in between the last 2. Now that I have enough time to get this over with, let's talk about my new 2 challengers from the same YouTubers, being Skylar Kingery and Danny23H. They have brought to me their Skybrids, that being Summer and E-Terror. Let's first go over Danny's hybrid. Its GM contributors are Pteranodon and Bald Eagle. He doesn't specifically say which one's the base and which one just adds, but it doesn't really matter. They both kind of, they're both good animals, both good GM contributors. And then Summer, or Skylar's hybrid, has a base of Econ Dracon, Rempharanchus for tail, Stropionacthus for size, Grey Parrot for intelligence, Bald Eagle for eyes, Lyrebird for mimicking sound. He did say something else in the video, but I swear on my life I could not understand what he was saying in that thing, so I just had to go with Lyrebird because I knew it, because it can mimic sound as long as whatever he was saying. And then we have Whiptail for asexual reproduction, and Quetzalcoatlus for strong wings, Ostrich for immune system, and Alligator for regrowing teeth. Now, if you've seen my last 2 collaboration videos with these 2, you'll know how I usually do this. I usually do this a Goji guy style of video where I kind of make like a cool little story thing, but I honestly don't have the energy to do that right now, nor do I want to do it since my microphone isn't working. So I'm going to do this a different way. I'm going to theoretically say how many Percys it would take to take down each hybrid. Since Percy is a relatively small hybrid, and in cases of, Vault and Maggie, it's going to take a lot more than 1 Percy to take down each hybrid. Now, for E-Terror, because we're going to start with him first, based on the 2 genome contributors, I'll have to say he's a little bit bigger. Maybe like 1.5 or 2 times a Percy's size in terms of like wingspan. So it would definitely be able to take out at least 2 Percys before 3 starts overwhelming it. Danny doesn't really talk about like anything like fighting strategies or whatever, but neither did Skylar, so I'm not going to hold it against him. But assuming we're taking this from maybe a Bald Eagle point of view, it would probably just swoop down, easily tear apart 1, and then second one might be distracted or distraught from what happened and not be thinking straight, and it just swoops down and does the same thing to the second one. But three's a little bit too much. It would go low to mid difficulty for 2, but 3 would start overwhelming it, and then once we get to 4, then yes, that it's dead. So 4 Percys, and then I'm also gonna do 0 for how many zeros it might take, even though there's only 1. But we'll just do if 0 can take it out. Yes, 0 absolutely just drags it into the water and drowns it. That's his whole strategy. Now, on to Summer. Summer would take a lot more Percys to kill, since Summer is a much, much larger animal compared to the Percys. Since her size, I just had to go off of a basic Tropionacthus wingspan. It's much, much bigger than the Percys for sure. Or she's much, much bigger than the Percys for sure. Now, you've seen the thumbnail. I made that art a while ago. I made that art before the Sky Hybrid War started, actually. So, since Percy's size chart has been updated, he would be a lot smaller compared to Summer here, in the thumbnail at least. So, how many Percys per se would it take to kill Summer? Now, we're going to just fly by with 3 and 4. She's just too big. She's too big. She'd easily just be able to grapple on to 2 of them at a time, slam them down, and maybe bite 1 and tear it apart, something like that. But I say once we start getting closer to 10, yeah, obviously once we start getting closer to 10, it's going to be a lot harder, and she's going to be very overwhelmed. But I say at like 9 or 8, she still pulls through with extreme difficulty. But once we reach the double digits, I'd say she's definitely dead. 10 or maybe 11, she wouldn't be able to overdo them, because they do have a somewhat hive mind mentality because of their wasp DNA contributor, but not like super hive mind. Very, very social animals, like I said, but yeah, no, they would easily be able to outdo her once it reaches double digits. And then if we're going now to talk about a 0 point of stand on this point, it would be a much more even fight, for sure. I say possibly, if Summer can pull through. If she can get 0 out of the water, she most definitely pulls through. But we'll say she flies over the water, he drags her down, and she kicks him off, grabs him behind the hip on the back, and pulls him up out of the water, throws him on land, and he's finished. That's all that it really takes to kill 0, is getting him out of his natural element. Because yes, he can fly, yes, he can still walk on land, but that doesn't mean he's used to nor want to. Just because he can doesn't mean he can do it healthy, because he's not used to it. He's definitely not been doing it normally, so it would take a bit for him to get used to it before he can actually start doing damage. And yeah, that is the really quick thing for the E-Terror summer fighting thing. I'm so tired, guys. I'm having to record this really quickly before I can get to like the Kaiju hybrid war, because I am actually almost done with the hybrid for that. And yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed. This video was very disorganized. It's something I had to do really quickly, so it's not going to be very well edited. None of my videos are really ever well edited, but this one's especially not. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. It was really quick, I know that for sure. And yeah, that was Summer and E-Terror versus Percy and Zeros, or Percy's and 0. And yeah, and Danny, if you are watching this, I do know you have other bird hybrids, but the comment you left was about E-Terror, not Dom and Vanny, I think were their names. So yeah. And what's that? No, I can't do this again. No, come on, man. I've made too many hybrids. No.